Greetings, Dr. Dawson. Jesse McCoy here with Week 8 discussion. So you posed several questions for us this week, and so I'll begin off with question number 1. What are the key issues faced by individuals with physical disabilities? So first, physical disabilities are stress and or trauma suffered by the body. An individual could have been born with physical limitations or disability due to inheritance from birth that were no fault of their own. So based on our text, the onset of the chronic illness disability, CID, can be extremely stressful, even traumatic. Multiple stress can arise from the onset of CID, from change in mobility and physical or mental functioning to job loss or rejection from others due to the CID. The onset of CID creates a unique type of stressors or trauma because the primary source of the psychological stress lies within and not outside the person's body or boundaries. So I would like to add in accessibility needs to the gamut of barriers that prevent individuals with physical disabilities. Also, the lack of continuous intervention, whether it be short-term or long-term, needed for daily care, health, and well-being are key issues as well. Stress is typically viewed as a negative experience that disrupts an individual's psychosocial equilibrium. It also is a particular relationship between the person and the environment that is appraised by the person as taxing or exceeding his or her resources and endangering his or her well-being, determined by individual subjective perception of the stressful situation. So trauma is a sudden and severe event that triggered multidimensional responses in individuals, including physiological, psychological, social, and existential reactions. Crossover trauma in CID describes a one-time event with long-term continuous consequences that may elicit a complex set of traumatic reactions. Mobility impairment, which is a physical disability, can include like paralysis, severe weakness, interference with control, missing limbs, speech impairment. According to our text, people with serious mental illness have a variety of concerns which may need to be considered when providing meaningful and effective counseling services, such as life goals of people with serious mental conditions are threatened by the stigma of mental illness. So there are two types of stigma that are especially troublesome barriers to the pursuit of personal goals. Those two types of stigma are public stigma and self-stigma. Public stigma refers to the attitudes and belief of the general public towards a person with the mental health challenges or their family members. Of the many stereotypes, the most problematic are the ideas of dangerousness, including people with mental illnesses should avoid because they are unpredictable, violent, and incompetent, to include people with mental illnesses are unable to do anything but the most meager of jobs and cannot live independently. As a result of these stereotypes, employers may be less likely to hire people with mental illnesses, and landlords may be less likely to rent to them. Additionally, determinants of negative effects include great risk of poverty and unemployment, homelessness, involvement in the criminal justice systems, and substance abuse. Moving into self-stigma, it occurs when individuals buy into society's misconceptions about their mental health. It occurs when people with mental illnesses agree with the stereotypes and apply them to themselves, i.e., I have a mental illness, and so I must be incompetent. No. By internalizing negative beliefs, individuals or groups may experience feelings of shame, anger, hopelessness, or despair that keep them from seeking social support, employment, or treatment for their mental health conditions. We cannot forget that negative repercussions of mental illness encompass almost all aspects of quality of life that individuals have ascertained to be important for satisfaction and well-being of everyday life. So, in my opinion, the next question you pose, in your opinion, what are the ways in which we as rehabilitation counseling professionals can contribute to addressing these issues? So in my opinion, rehabilitation counseling professionals can contribute by helping people with physical and or psychiatric disabilities discover what is needed that will enable them to move forward in life with achievable independence, mobility, and freedoms, less barriers and prejudice, better manage their stress and pain management from trauma and or from birth inheritance. In other words, employ coping mechanism that will outweigh the stress and or the trauma from limitations and or disabilities. So I like to provide one example. Say, for instance, someone has a physical or body pains, chronic pains, and utilizing a therapeutic pool might provide them some relief. So, of course, you can adjust the water temperatures, but it may provide them some relief, which is a coping mechanism. So our text explained that rehabilitation counselors or professionals can contribute by impacting the social system in which the person lives are equally important. Rehabilitation counselor professionals can help people find their personal power over their lives to fight the erroneous effect of prejudice, and they need good jobs and sometimes the education and training necessary to obtain those jobs to move out of poverty. So rehabilitation counseling professionals can help people with psychiatric disabilities with recovery support through supported employment and education opportunities, community supported housing, and wellness management and recovery, and help them find their self-determination through family services, strategic medicine or medication management, and peer support, and help them find their strength through integrated health care and faith-based services and support. We also can blend in the psychosocial rehabilitation fundamentals mission of full community inclusion that will help as well. I do have some additional information in reference to coping, negativity, affectivity, and positive affectivity. So coping is a psychological or response in circumstances that are new, require special efforts, or are unusual taxing. Negativity affectivity includes reactions such as depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, right? And so individuals may experience multiple psychological reactions at the same time. And then we move down to the positive affectivity is adaptation to disability, which is called acceptance or adjustment by the researchers and scholars, and has also been called post-traumatic growth. I like that. post-traumatic growth. Well, Dr. Dawson, this concludes this week overview discussion. I want to thank you for this opportunity. See you next week. Thank you.